Oh, hello there. Today I'm going to show y'all just like the framework that I kind of use to start off like a pretty simple visual loop. And you'll see I'll try to like combine something around like you can see all of the different ways you can take what I'm going to show you and just remix it and keep remixing it. And then before you know it, you'll have like 300 different cool things, and you can jump my After Effects and do some cool shit there too. But yeah, I'm just eating my lunch right now, and I just finished recording, so this is coming to you from the future. All right, so we're back, and today I'm gonna walk you all through a super simple like framework. You're gonna learn some really useful stuff. I'm gonna try to make sure this will work on Eevee and Cycles. It'll look really good on Cycles. It'll look really good on Eevee too, but I'm going to make sure you can see the two and the differences. But in this tutorial, we're just going to be working through Eevee. So let's get started. First thing, I like to mess with my colors management. We're now with the new version of Eevee. Compared to when I first started these tutorials, we didn't have ray tracing and all that. But I'm going to leave off the ray tracing just because I don't know too much about it right now. So the way I like to start is I'll go front view, and that's by holding down tilde, press shift A, bring in a camera. Okay, we got our camera. We don't need to touch it yet. The second thing is we're going to do the animation pretty quickly. Actually, let's just keep setting up this framework. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in cube, and I'm going to do tilde, top view. I'm going to press G to grab, and then Y to move it on the Y axis, holding down control, and the reason why we hold down control is you'll see we're snapping on the grid, and we want it to be right. If you press N, you'll see location is just Y1. I wonder if they do 0. Okay, so that's that. We just want it to be, we wanted the origin to be on that face, and I'm not going to go through all this modeling stuff. Second thing is you can up the dimensions. Let's just make it 16. We want it to be kind of fast. Make it 16 and do the same thing I just did by pressing G and then pressing Y and holding down control. Now we're going to press tab, press 3 to enter the face mode. Select the opposite faces. These are going to be kind of like the holes. Make sure you're holding down shift and press X to delete. Once you're done, you should have that. Now we're going to set up our animation. I'm going to make mine just like a little 3-second loop. So making that 96 frames at 24 frames per second. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the top view, hold down Z, go into wireframe, and we're going to keyframe, make sure we're selecting our camera. We're going to keyframe this location, and then we're going to go to the last part, which is 96. I press shift and then the arrow key to the right. You can do that left and right. Now I'm going to go ahead and drag that to the end, which should be 16. Now our camera, when we press spacebar, it'll be animating. And what I did there is I keyframed it. So all you do is right click and then keyframe, just like After Effects if you guys are from that, or honestly any animation program nowadays. I feel like keyframing is quite common. I'm going to rename this into loop container. Now we're going to do the next part of this. The next part is going to involve a little bit of modeling because we're going to be making a triangle. I'm going to go ahead and just right click on the divider and split my view here. I'm going to make sure this one's the camera. Scroll in, hide some stuff by pressing T. Now what we're going to do is press shift A. Let's bring in a plane. Let's press RX 90, moving that 90 degrees on the X-axis. Press tab, For edit mode, press 1 to bring down the I think that's point vertice. Select the 2 top ones. Press S to scale 0 to make their value 0 and they align. Gonna press merge vertices at center. Cool. Now we're gonna do a little bit of modeling. While still selecting our plane, go into edit mode, press 3, and press I to inset. I'm gonna inset to the size of the triangle you want. I'm gonna make mine not too crazy. Oops. There we go. So it insets. Then I'm gonna press X and delete that face. Then I'm gonna press 3 to select these. Press E to extrude. And press down tab again. And what you'll see here is we have a triangle. I'm gonna drag it out here just so we can kind of get a better look. And I'm gonna do some things. So press Control A, and we're gonna apply all the transformations. And what I wanna do now is we're gonna do some beveling. So the way you do beveling, I'm gonna make this pretty quick. You're going to edit mode, make sure you're selecting the edge select mode, which is 2. Hold down Alt and Shift, and when you select one of these, it will select kind of like all the corresponding edges on that side. Do that same thing. I'm gonna try some, so if this doesn't work, we'll be alright. So I selected all these edges. Actually, let's just select all of the edges. If we can bevel everything at once, make sure you hold down Shift, then you press Control B, start that bevel. It's gonna have to be a light one, it looks like. Hold down Shift, and then if you scroll on your mouse cursor, you'll see you'll start to add more beveling points. From there, auto smooth. It's looking okay. Don't worry too much about this step. If you guys can't get it perfectly like the same, it's okay. It's not really like a big deal. The deal you want to worry about is just the next part we're going to be doing. I'm going to call this triangle. Okay, now here's the moneymaker in terms of that really fun shape. So in your triangle, make sure that's selected. We're going to be in our modifiers tab, and we're going to start off by doing an array. And that array is going to be a constant offset on the y-axis. And we're just going to make it like 1 meter. And then we're going to do a few of these, maybe like 6. Oops, not 46, just 6. And you'll see here now we have our triangles. And truly, like, if that's the visual you want to, like, that works. You just duplicate it a few more times, or just make sure it doesn't like go too far out of your... That cube is how we're measuring this loop. So I would just make it like 17, and you'll see you literally have a freaking loop here. But anyways, that's not what you're here for today. We're gonna make ours half, which should be 9, I think. Can I just said that out loud? I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and press Shift A and bring it in empty. I'm gonna call this E underscore array rotation. Now on the triangle, for your array, you're gonna do object offset, array rotation. Now, I believe one of the reasons if yours is like mine and the whole triangle disappeared, it's because we haven't applied some of these things. So you press Shift A, all transformations. Control A, all transformations. Now you'll see it zeroed out everything again. And it looks like everything's back to how it is. Now when we rotate this by the y-axis, you'll see the triangles move. And what I like to do is just move it just a subtle bit, maybe like 16 degrees. Oops, 16 degrees. And then we're just setting up the framework. Bring in a mirror modifier. Put that on the y-axis. You can kind of see, I was testing this out right before I started recording. You kind of see like, oh no, that don't work. I was like maybe I could figure this out, but no, I'm not gonna figure this out. I'm just gonna do it the way I did it before. I don't want to get you guys all confused. Let's see. Okay, now we're bringing another empty. Mirror control. Doesn't matter what you name it, by the way. It'll be fine. Mirror control. Now, our mirror control right now is at the start of the loop. You press G and Y. You see we drag it. And what I did, truthfully, was like, you could just bring them close together. People will tell that's kind of where the loop ends, but I think with like the lights and everything, folks really won't be able to tell. And you'll see kind of like the loop, the triangle ends right there. So, time for that next part. Let's do this one last part with modeling. So what I also like to do, since we kind of have like our guidelines here, press tab, go into edit mode. I'm gonna go ahead and just go into solid view. Select these two corners. I want it to feel like kind of like a sci-fi corridor. So I'm gonna make these kind of long, and I'm gonna make this kind of wide, just so they can live, the triangles can live on its own. And then I'm gonna go ahead and apply all transformations. Again, I'm gonna bevel these. Sci-fi corridors do not have 90-degree angles. So it's gonna be like, something like this maybe. Auto smooth shade it. Now select everything that is in our loop except the camera. Press M, new collection. I'm gonna call this loop collection. Okay. Now you're in for it. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, the next step, Shift A, collection instance, loop collection. Press G and Y, and we're gonna drag it right. We want it to just lock in. But I held down Control. I'm gonna go ahead and do that on both of these sides before I do the crazy spamming thing. Now let's go here. Oh, here's how you make it look kind of infinite. Shift D, duplicate, make sure you're holding down Control, and now I'll do Shift R, Shift R, Shift R. What that does is it's just repeating the action of we just did the duplication and we moved it a certain length. Now, let's press this and let's just pay attention, see if we can catch the loop. It's kind of hard to catch it, so. And keep in mind, like if it isn't perfect, it's perfectly fine because we're learning here. And I think if you are someone making something for a club, as long as like, I don't know, like it really won't matter. I feel like people aren't gonna catch it. Like they're gonna be like drinking and shit. They're turning up. They're not fucking focused on the perfection of the loop. Anyways, okay, so now we're gonna start doing a little bit of coloring. Go into render view. If you're like me and have the default settings, right now within our world we have this like gray light kind of going on. Put the strength down to 0. Let's make another collection by right clicking here. I'm gonna call this one lights. We're working through this right now. This is actually going so smooth. Okay, top view, wireframe, back to the start. So it's not that first one, but this one. Now lights, we're gonna bring a point light. You could truthfully deadass just have like one, But I had a point light like right here on my corner. Go into our lighting section. I made that one. I've been really into this like soft blue cybercore type shit. I'm gonna pump it up a little bit. Maybe like 30. You can copy me if you want. It's fine. Bring that in here. I'm gonna make sure one of these lights kind of sit dead center. I think that might be dead center. I'm not sure. You could probably bring that down. 25 maybe. Make that one just like straight up. Oops. Just make that one just like white or something. Or we could do that. Soft blue. Copy that. And make another light. This one may live a little bit further down. The one thing you don't want to make the mistake like I did was my light started intersecting with the triangles, which made this kind of like funky glitch, which like it just wasn't pretty. I was like, what the freak is going on? Okay, let's just try it with 3 lights. One thing I learned is you don't want to, like, it's like hacking something. You don't want to put too much and then go back and you're like, why doesn't it work? You want to do little by little to make sure you know what goes wrong in the process. So now we're going to parent our point lights to our camera. There's 2 ways to do this. I'm just going to show you the easy way. Select all of these, hold it down with your mouse, hold down shift, and just drop it into camera. What that did is it parented it and kept all the transforms. So now if we click play, you might be able to catch the loop, but you kind of see. Okay, so like when the light, one of the things is the light's only in front of us. We might want to duplicate one of these lights, kind of put it behind the camera, just so when it's looping. Now, one of the reasons why it feels like it pauses is our camera animation just needs to start off frame on 0. Now what it does, I actually don't know how to fully explain that one, but I think because I actually don't know how to explain that one, but we go from 0 and to 96, and truly if you see the same thing, I think you pretty much got it. How I'm jumping between that, again on 0, then I'm holding down shift and directional arrow to the right, shift and directional arrow to the right, and that's pretty much it. Let me show you. I messed around a little bit with depth of field. I don't want to go too crazy with y'all, so maybe I'll make another video about that, but just make my depth of field a little, push it out a little bit. Now it's kind of like, what is even going on? And I didn't apply any materials. This is all materialless. It's just materialless. But I want this video to be simple. I want you to just catch these core fundamentals, and then from here you could like just start adding stuff. Think about this, the like container that we built as like the guardrails. If you really wanted to, you could also just remove it, and then it would be a whole other loop. You remove that, now it's just straight up. Well, it looks like I think something happens with the, I actually don't know why it's still there for some of these. I think you actually have to just straight up like delete it. But from here you're getting some articles, artifacts. I'm just gonna leave mine for my render. But I think you get what I'm saying. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to make this too crazy. So what I typically do is I export now in JPEG sequences and use like After Effects or something to just render out the image sequences, just because if it crashes somewhere, you'll be able to continue from where I left. I used to recommend FFmpeg. You can. I'm gonna let you kind of get your own resource for that one. But this is pretty much the loop. You just render your animation, and we're all said and done. I'm back.